at the beginning when you were talking through, you said sometimes an illness means you get more love, you get more attention. Transforming. Yeah. Feel well, it's just, yeah, I could just feel lighter. Yeah. And a lot more relaxed. And yeah, already feeling freer. Yeah. My resistance feels like negligible. Drawing it, and there was nothing destructive going on there. That's the key, isn't it?
Mm. Yeah, it's very gentle.
Mm. Very respectful, very, like, that was the word that it's like, it's not dismissing any of it, because all of it is who I am, has brought me to this moment now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, amazing.
Awesome.
Just need to have a conversation. Because I think this is why this has gotten really quite tight, this breathing, because I'm sort of like expressing, I feel a huge sadness. I feel a huge sadness. And at the same time, it's like a massive lesson in letting go and letting someone else be who they are. I know that when I kind of focus on just getting on with being creative, I actually feel better. And so in a way, it's like a no-brainer to just dig deep, keep going, you know.
What made you originally book a call with coaching with me?
I'm going to confess now that initially I thought, my God, Amber's lovely, but she's so young. Like, okay, let's see how this goes, kind of thing. Anyway, it very quickly, I tell you what, you just blew me away because of your, you know, your coaching and your wisdom. I kind of go, no, you can't be in your early 20s, surely, you know. What I've found from the sessions with you has been, I think it's a really magic combination. So on the one hand, you bring a real spiritual energy and like wisdom, like I've learned so much, even just now. I've made some notes. And then there's this whole other side to you and your work and your coaching that is so pragmatic, and the coaching is so kind of just straight, you know, like you talk really, you know, in a straightforward way and in a very direct way. And I think that's pretty awesome combination, you know, because one, you could be inclined to think that somebody who's so much into like the spiritual realm could be a bit kind of woolly about the pragmatic, you know, side of life. And yet, you know, I see a real richness and depth in both of those areas which you bring to your work. And then finally, I just really want to acknowledge you for the compassion that you bring to your work. I'm gonna get a bit emotional, but your love for people and your commitment, you know, to empowering people to be the best version of themselves is something I've got really present to in our work together. And it certainly enabled me to make this huge progress. And given what I've been through with my health, which has been a 14, getting on for 15-year quest, I with my second daughter, I started feeling breathless, really struggling to breathe. and trying to, like, my thing is I ignore stuff, you know, things that are happening that I don't like. I kind of ignore them and hope they go away. So I was doing that with this, and the thing is, it was getting worse. And he diagnosed a thing called idiopathic subglottic stenosis, which translates into idiopathic, we've no idea what causes this, grow a little web of tissue beneath my vocal cords. So in that place, instead of my larynx being about 17 millimeters in diameter, it had actually narrowed down to 3 or 4 millimeters. So no wonder I was struggling to breathe. So over the years, I have worked with so many different people, and it's been fascinating. I've been on a raw vegan diet. I've had it's set me off on a spiritual journey, because I was kind of agnostic, verging on the atheist at times before all this. And what coming to Magnetic Minds and to working with you, I think has been to just bring all those strands into one. My breathing had started to get pretty bad. It stayed really good most of last year. I was being very active, and that's what I'd noticed when I was expressing myself and my passion for something, whenever I was really engaged in a movement that I was passionate about, and giving talks and connecting with people, I was well. This thing did not occur. I see the consultant in London, and he says, crikey, why haven't you come sooner? Especially when people are getting chest infections. Basically he was telling me off. And I said to him, as I've said to him before, I'm sorry. And it's because I have experienced it receding, which he always kind of goes, gosh, really? Maybe you need some other kind of help too. Some kind of chest infection going on, running in the background. And I was getting over that. I was dealing with that really well. And then on this one particular day, I got this mucus. It's called a mucus plug. It's not a very nice thing to think about. And I went to cough. So I took a really deep breath, went to cough, and it got stuck in my throat. So that was quite dramatic, in that my dad and his partner, thankfully, were very nearby. They called the emergency services, and my dad followed the instructions, giving me chest compressions to get my breathing going, which he did successfully. So although I went out, fainted, collapsed. The thing is that without the coaching that I'd been doing with you, my whole attitude to that incident would have been different. I know that I would have gone into absolute self-flagellation for how did I let this happen? What have I done to my dad? I've traumatized him. It would have been a total human 3D analysis and kind of like making myself really wrong. And as it was, thank God, I was able to just kind of go with this, go with the flow and get to hospital and think this is all meant to be. And my God, the conversation, all these little moments like that, and interactions with my A&E nurse, and discovering a new ENT consultant who was more open-minded. I was able to have more conversations with. So I'm able to really go with the flow and think, yes, this is all happening and unfolding as it's meant to. I had this incredible energy suddenly enter my body at between about 6:30 and 7:30 in the morning. I was kind of asleep when it suddenly happened. And again, instead of going into fear, I went with it. And I am breathing now as if I've had surgery, except I haven't had any surgery. So whatever happened on that day, I think, was able to happen because of, you know, learning from you to go with the flow, to be open, to not think, you know, that I have to kind of know all the answers, have all the answers. And it's I mean, talk about faith. I mean, I was already recognizing this, you know, incredible energy, this divine spirit in and around us and in, you know, in us. And now it's taken that to a whole new level. And thank you. That's, but huge, you know.
Yeah.
Really huge. Yeah.
What would you say is the biggest shift that you've had through in the last 6 months of coaching?
The biggest shift is, well, it's a combination of trusting in the divine and learning to give space for the divine to come in and through me, noticing much more often when I'm starting to get, you know, have my ego take me into that human way of like anxiety and control and all that. So I think that's a massive shift. And by the way, my dad a whole new spiritual world has opened up for him, and his partner is delighted because she was pretty spiritually connected. She's been spiritually connected for some time. So with the spiritual connection now as well, wow, you know, watch this space kind of thing, you know, that's phenomenal. And that wouldn't have happened. We put the past in the past, leave the future open, and this open, and how you you know, have so much wisdom and skill and compassion in the work that you do. I'm really looking forward to our next recode.
Yes.
So I'll book that in.